Hello and welcome to the Clat Possible YouTube channel. Today let's discuss about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. I'm sure all of you are aware that yesterday, which was the 4th of July 2023, India held a virtual summit of the SCO as the presidency of Shanghai Cooperation Organization rests with India. So in this particular session, we will see what is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, who are its members, how does it work, and what are the recent developments because of the virtual summit that was held in the year 2023. So the very first thing that comes to mind is that why was it formed? SCO करता क्या है? So उसका mandate क्या है? मतलब this is basically an organization of a lot of countries that come together primarily to enhance security and stability in the Eurasian region. Apart from that, they also deal with the emerging challenges and the emerging threats, and they cooperate in terms of trade, humanitarian efforts, and also culture. The second thing that comes to mind is that एक जगह हम Shanghai 5 पढ़ते हैं और फिर वो Shanghai Cooperation Organization बन जाता है. So what was the journey of this organization? Let's talk about that. We will then come up with a mnemonic. We will try to learn all of these countries' name, and this mnemonic has been there since time immemorial. So first, let's understand what is Shanghai 5. Right. So Shanghai 5, guys, was a combination of China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and Tajikistan. When was the Shanghai 5 made? It was made in the year 1996. Now, मैंने अभी आपको बताया that this was primarily to enhance security, right? So, in the year 1996, these countries signed a treaty called the Treaty on Deepening Military Trust in Border Regions. Later on, when the summit took place in Shanghai in the year 2001, Uzbekistan was also admitted into this particular group. And in the year 2001, they declared that now the group will no longer be called Shanghai 6 or Shanghai 5, but now it has become an organization called the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And like every other organization, they also came up with their own charter, with their own constitution, which basically tells them the aspiration and the structure of the organization. And this charter came into being in the year 2002. Right. The next thing that we need to know is how did India become a member of this particular grouping? So it was in the year 2005 in Astana, right, sorry. So it was in the year 2005 in Astana, Kazakhstan, where India was granted an observer status. Later on, after 10 years, in Russia, the SCO decided to admit India as a full-time member. It was then in 2016, in Tashkent in Uzbekistan, that India signed the memorandum and basically was one step away of being declared as a full-time member, which happened in the historic summit again in Astana in the year 2017 in Kazakhstan, where we were declared as a full-time member, and so was Pakistan. So our story started from Astana, and we basically became a full-time member also in Astana. Right. After this, let's deal with, before we deal with other organizations, let's first look at which countries are now a member of this particular grouping. So, like I told you, that we are going to try and learn the names of these countries through a mnemonic. The mnemonic is India ka truck, पाकिस्तान, और अब तो ईरान में भी है, पाकिस्तान और ईरान में है. So India stands for India. That is very, very simple. What does KA stand for? KA stands for Kazakhstan. It was there in 2017 that we became a full-time member. T stands for Tajikistan, which is right here. R stands for Russia, which is right here. U stands for Uzbekistan over here. C stands for China. K stands for Kyrgyzstan. Pakistan obviously stands for Pakistan, which is right here. And also Iran in this particular summit. So India ka truck Pakistan and Iran mein hai. This is just a way to learn it up, right? Okay, so these are our member countries. Now let's understand that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization also has observer status in many other international bodies. So, for example, it got the status of an observer in the year 2004 in United Nations General Assembly, also in the Commonwealth of Independent States, ASEAN countries, Collective Security Treaty Organization, Economic Cooperation Organization, UNODC, which is United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and many other, also UNESCO. All right, so do we have to learn all of them? Well, don't learn all of them, but at least know about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, know about the UN General Assembly, and then you should also know about UNESCO, which happened in the year 2018. What I'm trying to tell you is that this particular organization is collaborating with a lot of other international bodies. Let's go ahead now, and now let's understand what is the structure of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So we are seeing in the news that these head of the governments, they meet once in a year, but we also saw our defense ministers meeting. We saw that there was a meeting with respect to the foreign affairs ministers that happened in Goa. That was very popular because of the fact that we had also invited Bilawal Bhutto, right, who is the foreign affairs minister of Pakistan. So there are many meetings, but there has to be a dedicated body, an administrative body that takes care of whatever has been spoken of in the meetings. Is it being implemented or not? So SCO has two permanent bodies in that sense, right? One is the SCO Secretariat, which is in Beijing, and the second one is RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, which is in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. Apart from that, there is the Council of the Head of the State, which is the apex decision-making body, and Council of the Head of the Governments is the second highest council in the organization. Right? Over here, we need to basically keep in mind that there is an SCO Secretariat and also about RATS. So with respect to the Secretariat, the question that can be asked is, where is it? So it is in Beijing, it is in China, right? The most important thing with respect to current affairs right now is that while the 6 founding members, the Shanghai 6, right, so apart from India and Pakistan that were added in the year 2017 and also Iran, the other 6 countries basically have their halls which inside the SCO Secretariat that talks about their diverse culture. And now India also has a dedicated portion in that particular hall where our Indian diversity, our Indian culture is being depicted. Pakistan does not have it, right? So that is something which is important. What is it called? It is called the New Delhi Hall. All right, please keep this in mind. The second thing that they can ask you is who made this particular hall. So it was designed by the Chennai-born architect Prabhu Sugumar. So Prabhu Sugumar is currently based in Beijing, and he is the one who designed this particular India New Delhi Hall, or India's portion inside the Secretariat. All right. Secondly, SCO Secretary General is Zhang Ming, is another thing that you must keep in mind. The second thing, like I told you, was the Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure. Where is it based out of? It is based in Tashkent, is something that we've already read in the previous slide. And the second thing that we can possibly learn is the name of the executive director of this particular grouping, and his name is Ruslan Mirzaev Ernokovich, right? And he's from Uzbekistan. Now let's talk about the SCO Summit. So this is the logo that was made because India was holds the presidency of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and our motto or the theme of this particular grouping for the year 2023 is SECURE, where S stands for security, E stands for economy, C stands for connectivity, U for unity, R for respect, and E for environment. So let's try and understand what happened in this virtual summit that took place yesterday. Firstly, the Indian Prime Minister has said that there should be no double standards on terrorism. Secondly, he has said that Islamabad uses terrorist groups as an instrument of their state policy. Thirdly, he says Beijing has been blocking the listing of Pakistan-based terrorists at the United Nations Security Council, and this has been happening for quite some time now, right? This is not about one terrorist or two terrorists. There are many, which China has blocked because it is a member of the permanent 5 members of the UN Security Council. The next thing is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Now, guys, if I would have included the Belt and Road Initiative as well as the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor within this video, it would have been really long. So what we will do is we will have a dedicated video on Belt and Road Initiative, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and how it impacts our own sovereignty. In fact, Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, he reiterated this fact that it is important and it is essential for all the member countries of the SCO to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. This acronym SECURE was basically given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the 2018 SCO Summit. Such kind of information may be asked in your examination, so kindly keep it in mind. And the 2018 SCO Summit took place in China. All right, that is where this SECURE acronym was given by our Prime Minister. The next thing that he spoke about are these 2 fundamental principles upon which this SCO Summit of 2023 were based. One is Vasudev Kutumbakam, something that you've been reading even in G20, right, where we basically say that everyone, all of us, are basically a part of the same family. And the second one is secure, and we've already spoken about that. Apart from that, India has given the Shanghai Cooperation Organization 5 new pillars. One is startups and innovation, which is very much in line with our Saptarishi, which also talks about innovation, right? Second is traditional medicine, digital inclusion, youth empowerment, and shared Buddhist heritage. That basically means that the Global Buddhist Summit, which we've been talking over and over again, also becomes exceptionally important for us, right? So these are the 5 pillars that have been introduced by India's presidency. Apart from that, India has stayed out of the Belt and Road Initiative and the joint statement on SCO economic development strategy because we do not believe that any member country has the authority to get into our land, to get into such lands which are a little disputable. What I'm talking about is Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, but it does go way beyond that. And so hence we'll have a dedicated video on Belt and Road Initiative and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Apart from that, what other things do we have to keep in mind? So like I said in the very beginning, that this particular grouping also deals with a lot of cultural cooperation, humanitarian cooperation, and trade enhancement. So keeping that in mind, the SCO Film Festival 2023 was held, where the National Award-winning movie Tulsi Das Jr., this was shown. Where was this festival held? Of course, when you talk about movies, the first thing that comes to mind is Mumbai, and so hence it was held in Mumbai. Apart from that, you can also keep in mind that this movie Tulsi Das Jr. has won 2 national awards at the 68th National Film Awards. Secondly, in 2020, it also got a lot of awards. The child actor is Varun, and the film has been produced by Ashutosh Gowarekar and many other people, right? And written by Mridul Tulsidas. So Tulsidas Jr. also becomes very important for us, right? The second one was the meeting with respect to Comptroller and Auditor General, right? SCO Supreme Audit Institution Leader Meeting. This happened in Lucknow. Of course, it was chaired by our Comptroller and Auditor General of India. It is a constitutional post, Article 148 of the Constitution. However, CAG is not a part of the Union Executive. The second thing that you can keep in mind is the Comptroller Auditor General of India, Girish Chandra Murmu, is the auditor of both union government accounts as well as state government accounts, right? So it was inaugurated by the governor of UP, Anandiben Patel, and the theme was integrating emerging technologies in audit. All of these points are important for you. Where was it held? What was the theme? All of that, right? The next one was another SCO meeting, which took place in New Delhi. And this was basically the Supreme Court Chief Justice's meeting. Obviously, who will be the chairman? It is none other than the Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. And there was an SCO Defense Ministers meeting. Even before reading this, I know who would have headed it. It is Rajnath Singh. Well, there were all of the representatives, even representatives from Iran and Belarus also attended this particular meeting. The Pakistan representative, Khwaja Asif, had attended in a virtual mode. Apart from that, of course, the Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting that has already been taken up time and time again by us, wherein Bilawal Bhutto was the one that had been in news the most, right? So that is it from my end. Thank you very much. In case you have any doubts, you can post them as your comments under this particular video. If you liked it, kindly like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more such informative videos. That's all from my end. Thank you very much.